hey, YouTube. And I showed her a video. Well, who posts these videos? Anybody posts these videos. Well, who watches these videos? Anybody that finds it. How do people find these videos? Well, the people that create the video share it with their inner circle, and if they like it, they share it with other people. And then if more people like it, then YouTube decides maybe we should show these to more people on our homepage. She's like, I love it. I'm like, yeah, it's growing really fast. I'm like, what you want is YouTube for money. And she's like, that's exactly what I want. I'm like, that's not a finance company. That's an internet company, because you can't change the finance industry if you're in the finance industry. And that's how we launched very naively in January 2008, and I guess the rest is history.
Well, tell us some of that rest of that history. Give him a hand, first of all. Give him a big hand. So tell us, what were some of the first challenges that you ran across trying to build this?
Oh, we ran into many challenges. We had the perfect plan, which was in 2008. In Q1, we were going to launch the company. We were going to get some case studies. So in Q2, we were going to develop those case studies. And in Q3, we were going to use the case studies to turn them into press so that we could use the press to get VCs to give us money. See, in 2007, when we were developing the idea, we already had people that wanted to invest in us. And we were very cool. We were like, no, we're not going to take your money yet. We're going to bootstrap this all ourselves because we're going to get to a higher valuation based on case studies and results. And then you'll give us more money at higher terms. Well, then the biggest crash in 100 years happened, and that plan did not work out well. So we ended up having only 3 quarters worth of bootstrap cash until Q3 of 2008. We ended up bootstrapping all the way through 2010.
How much? How much did you guys put in? How much did
we never actually discussed it, but it's not a lot of money, and we ended up, meaning it was not a lot in total, but it was a lot of our money that we had. I went to retirement savings. We paid to work for 3 years.
Give him a hand for that. That's
we
awesome.
paid
That's a
to
real
work.
That's right.
I don't know. So my co-founder likes to say that beyond all reason and rationale, we continue to move forward. And to give an example of one of the roadblocks, we had this brilliant strategy, which was you were going to get connected into Indiegogo and you wouldn't be able to get out. It would be the web of incredible experience. You couldn't get out of Indiegogo. And what I mean by that is you can fund things, you can recruit for people, you can vote on the team. We had like 6 different buttons on the homepage on one of these experiences for a campaign page. And it wasn't really growing. And then finally in 2009, we were saying, hey, we need to be listening to our customers. What are we? Which of these buttons are we really? And we kind of just decided, really we just care about funding. We want people to fund these ideas. Either they do or they don't. And we did a very bold concept, which now is obvious. But we removed like 80% of the functionality. And we left literally just one button, which was either you fund or you don't fund. Now that seems obvious. But it really went counter to our entire plan, which is if all we have is one button, there's not much to do. It's like either you're going to fund, if you're not funding, then you're done. How are we going to keep them? But we made that big decision, and after that, the stats went up and to the right. People really got it. They weren't confused. We really understood more of our product experience, what the customers were trying to accomplish. That was one of the major challenges we overcame. Also,
how about the fact that you were rejected 93 times? Is that right?
I was just about to get there.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Yes, we got rejected over the course of January 2008 through 2010 by 93 VCs in a row. And
let's have a hand for that. That's incredible.
It is true. And I have a list. And the crazy thing was, they had every reason. And the hard thing about raising money, if you're trying to raise money from VCs, is VCs turn you down really nicely. Like, it always sounds like a yes. Like, I'm totally into this. Just once you bring back another quarter worth of data, we're going to invest. Like, I think you just need to be able to show that the market acquisition prices, you can lower them to this, and then I'm in. Or once you bring in 4 more engineers, I'm in. She's like nodding her head. All of these things, I was like excited. I'm like, this is awesome. Just rejection after rejection after rejection. Because the one time that I actually got people to put in money, I know what that feels like. That's like, this is awesome. Wait, let me get your bank account. I'm going to wire you money. That's what a yes sounds like. And the 93 VCs, it was tough because we went through the market crash. And in mid-2009 was probably when it was about as dark as it gets, which was we now had, the market crash was very deep. We were way past our budget in terms of bootstrapping. We were already into retirement funds. I used to be thinner because I couldn't afford more food. So like that was a positive. But Who knew?
Did you have a headache for a
yeah,
month?
who
Did you
knew?
have a headache for a month? I'm just wondering if there's any common denominators.
There you go. And what happened was we had to decide if we were going to close. And besides even closing, and I think just as important, we actually had to decide if we were going to take part-time jobs. So we were totally full-time, and we had like no money. So Danae had already moved in with her mother to be able to lower her expenses. You know, Eric, who is incredible at dev and coding, development, and engineering, you know, he's getting all these people harassing him to be like, I'll give you so much money just to do like a little consulting job and all this stuff. And we had to really decide, are we going to try to do some part-time cash just to stay up, you know? And we decided not to. And that was probably harder than deciding whether or not to close. Because it's my opinion that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be all in. Like 180% all in.
I agree, 1,000,000%.
And as soon as we thought about potentially going like part-time, I was like, we might as well just close now then.
I agree.
And that was a big decision we decided in 2009. We made a couple changes. The other thing is, what we struggled with is we always thought we were going to become a marketplace for funding across all types of verticals. That was the grand strategy. But trying to take a playbook, a piece out of the playbook from Amazon, we started with film only. So the only things you saw for the first year and a half were films. So people associated with us as a film company. And I would go to these VCs, and they're like, we don't invest in film companies. You should go to Hollywood. I'm like, it's not a film company. It's a tech company starting with films. They're like, Hollywood's where you need to go. And then I would ask some other people, and they would be like, no, it's not our profile. We can't help you. I'm like, I'm looking for engineering help. I'm looking to figure out like customer acquisition costs using digital. I'm trying to figure out, they're like, no, we don't really work with film companies. I'm like, listen, this isn't that hard. Like, their category right now says film. Imagine it's in a database where instead somebody chooses, you know, robots, and they'll say robots there. They're like, yeah, we don't invest in film. So what we had to do then is we decided too early for our own good, we decided we were going to open up to everything. So we opened up from film to everything. And then all of a sudden, the VCs were like, this is really interesting. And that was one of the big moves as well. So between the having to stay open, figuring out whether or not we're going to stay open, the VC rejections, the product, you know, challenges of how to simplify our product, and definitely having to open up for everybody else. I mean, what I'll say in terms of like more macro, and it's not about Indiegogo specifically, especially since we're in Vegas, but like a lot of people are very excited about their plans. And I think earlier you were talking about how many of you have 50% growth rates? How many of you have 67% growth rates? How many of you have 100% growth rate? I couldn't agree more. I think if you're really good at writing business plans, you should totally get into screenplays or write literature. It means you are like an Isaac Asimov.